Hi friends, I'm the vegan. I make a salad today and I make one every day. Almost. And I like variety. And there's something I learned about variety that really struck me. I was so happy to read it. Dr. Greger digged out some articles, latest science again, of course, he always does, and published a video about it. And I read the transcript. They're very easy. Don't have to watch the video, you can read the transcript. The team always does it, very helpful. And it was about variety. I tell you about that, about the health benefits of eating a diet high in variety. Yeah, that's very interesting. I begin with a salad because it's another day, it's another salad. And today I have arugula here. This is a wonderful herb that grows in the garden. It has a strong flavor, sharp a little bit. And that always lets me guess, okay, that must be very nutritious when it's hot in flavor. And arugula can be eaten with other ingredients that are either neutral, with high water, with like tomatoes here. It's my pairing for today, the main pairing here. Tomato and arugula, the colors are perfect together, green and red. That's delicious for the eyes. The eye asks for red. If you see green, and if you see green, the eye asks for red. You can you look at the green, close your eyes, and inside you see red, automatically. It's called complementary colors. Isn't it interesting? I learned it in school a long time ago, and I found it fascinating. So now I put the arugula here, and the thing is, if you have it in the garden, it grows wild. Really, it grows wild. You don't need to seed it at all. Here you have these, sometimes you have a very strong stems, then you take them off, but the health food shop arugula, like this one, almost always has these very thin stems. You can leave these on. So it's very easy to make. You just wash it, spin it, to dry it a little bit with a vegetable spinner. I have one, a salad spinner, very useful. And then you put the other ingredients in, very easy. So tomatoes go in, and these are cup tomatoes, so small tomatoes, easier to buy. They're a little bit more expensive than the big ones, but they're almost always tasty, whereas the big tomatoes almost always not tasty. These days, it's really hard to get really tasty tomatoes. If you don't grow them in your own garden, better to wait until summer and you have a chance to get a tasty tomato. But you can nothing replace in the kitchen with a tomato. All the chefs say that. It has such a wonderful qualities. And it's high in water, has the red color, is something very healthy for the eyes, for the skin, and also helps with cancer. So it's very healthy and very tasty, and has this sweet and sour flavor, and that goes so nice and a little bit more neutral and gentle as compared to the arugula that's strong, almost mustardy kind of flavor. So they are perfect together. And the other ingredients here is a walnut, also a strong flavor. It's perfect with arugula, a handful of walnuts here. If you have very bitter walnuts, sometimes when they are older and darker, you see already they taste very bitter. Then you can soak them overnight and drain and rinse them and use them then. But these here, they are light, you see, there's a light color. These are sometimes not bitter at all, so you don't need to soak them. These ones don't need to be soaked. And it always depends on the kind of walnut you find. And on top, 3 ingredients here. That is always a nice combination because 3, they combine to a new flavor. You cannot really analyze that easily in your mouth because 3 is 1 times 2 times 3. That is called faculty. That's a mathematical operation. 1 times 2 times 3 is the total amount of possible combinations. So 1, 2, 3 ingredients means 1 times 2 times 3, 6 possible combinations, whereas 2 ingredients only has 1 times 2, only 2 possible, and that you can easily analyze. So if you have a complex flavor you cannot analyze, you have a new flavor. That's why 3 is so interesting to begin with. The least amount of complexity with the greatest amount of effect. So the topping here of my 3 is olives. Olives also, they are perfect with tomatoes and walnuts. Also on the arugula, they add a little saltiness there. They're a little fatty, like the walnuts, and they have also a strong flavor. So this is my main ingredients today. Just arugula, tomatoes, walnuts, and some black olives. You can take green ones too, if you have. And the dressing today, something, I'm a little inspired now by this variety idea. I show you in a moment, I tell you in a moment. But I don't use that much olive oil in the first place. Today I use olive oil because with this here together it has a wonderful flavor and it adds a little bit of variety. Here, just 2 tablespoons of hand-pressed olive oil. Put it here into a little glass here with a lid on top. I can put a lid on top, and I don't need to use the blender for this. A very easy way to make a dressing. And here a little bit more of balsamic vinegar. If you really want to have 100% raw, you take another kind of vinegar, for example, apple cider vinegar. There is a raw, but balsamic vinegar is mostly, I guess, it's not 100% raw. They do something to the grapes to make them, but I don't really care. When you have a small amount of cooked food in the raw food, it's still considered raw because the health benefits of the raw are only proven until 70% of raw. If you have a third of your food cooked for the calorie amount, you have 2,000 calories a day, and if maybe, let's say, 600 calories or 700 calories of these are cooked food, it's still the same health benefits as if you have whole, everything cooked. It just, they don't really know about this better so far, so yeah, I don't mind having a little bit of cooked food in there, especially with the dressing. There's a very small amount of vinegar that doesn't count at all in calories, so I don't have a problem with that. There are between different ingredients. Some ingredients are very very careful to cook. For example, broccoli, for example. If you cook the broccoli, steam the broccoli, the main health benefits of sulforaphane, that is anti-cancer fighting, is destroyed. It doesn't really evolve from the cooked broccoli or steamed broccoli, even slightly steamed, it goes away. So if you have a raw broccoli chance, that's much more healthier than cooked broccoli. Though if you steam your broccoli, you can help it with some it's called mustard seed powder. You ground the mustard seed, and then they do the same as the sulforaphane in the broccoli, so you have the same health benefit. Anyway, so you can always be creative in cooking. But this one is a little bit uncooked, cooked in there. It is the balsamic vinegar, but I want that flavor today. With arugula especially, I love the balsamic vinegar. Very special flavor, very complex flavor. So that's what I want to do today. And I have here pepper, black pepper, I ground myself, and I have a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, and I have a little bit of garlic powder, also a super healthy substance. Garlic powder is different than garlic. It's the same ingredient, but is dry and has also wonderful health benefits. Garlic, and they are among the healthiest foods we have. Blueberries, garlic, all these things, they are together. So I put the salt in there. I wait a little bit with a little bit there. There's a little bit too much of pepper. I begin with half of the amount. Shouldn't be too peppery. That doesn't taste nice. So I can always adjust the flavor when I first mixed it. And I put the whole garlic powder in there. So this is my dressing now, here at the base. I will put the lid on top. It's a very versatile. Even if you are traveling, you have this with you. You can always blend up, mix up a dressing, shake up a dressing here very quickly. And everywhere in the hotel or so, you have a little bit of garlic, or a little bit of pepper and salt, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of or lemon you can press, some olive oil or whatever you like. Very easy. Some tahini with you. You can make a dressing very light and easily, and in a salad in no time. So I taste it now. Looks nice. Wow, that's cool. Oh yeah, the strong flavor. A little bit more salt I will put. Yeah, that's nice. Salt. It's nice to over season a little bit with our dressing, because in the salad the dressing covers all the ingredients, a little bit more pepper too, and all the rest of the garlic powder that goes in there. So I keep a little bit of the pepper because you taste it very easily. If the pepper is too much, you feel a little scratching in the throat. Not a long time scratching, just a small scratch. It doesn't really matter, but then you know you have a little bit of much of pepper, and it's not yet there, but it will come soon. I understand. So pepper is enough. I will keep some. Now I taste it again. Yeah, wonderful. This is very nice. I like this sour acidic flavor together with the oil, but a little bit of oil only, of course, not so healthy, the pure calories, but there are exceptions, like today, this wonderful salad. I want this now. That's why I do. And yeah, to tell a little bit more about the variety, the thing is that what they found out, yeah, they're always, the pharmaceutical industry have a lot of money, and they always try to invent new pills to have health benefits, example from plants. They pull one ingredient out of a plant and into a pill. And of course they have to know how this ingredient, how this substance, this chemical works in the body. So that can be very expensive to find out how exactly it works. And so they need a lot of money for that. And if they have to do a lot of testing, it gets more and more, I mean, combination, not animal testing, I don't like that, but if they try to find out how that works together, these different ingredients, it can take a lot of money, even more. And the more you have to do, the more money it can take. And so at a certain point, they will not go on researching because it's too expensive if you don't have a result. And especially with the phytonutrients. So each plant has thousands, can have thousands of phytonutrients. They produce them themselves. And they have a huge variety of effects. So they tried something to find out about the health benefits and of ingredients. So they found out that, long story short, if you put, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 ingredients, substances together in one meal, yeah, and each of them only very small amounts, very tiny amounts, like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon or so. Yeah, because if you make a pill, yeah, you can put a whole plant into it. And if you want to test on a person who eats it, you cannot give him a placebo, because if for pomegranate and the pomegranate apple, yeah, for example, you cannot fake it. You cannot give a fake pomegranate apple to eat. So you don't have a control group. So for this reason, it's useful to have a pill and something get put into a pill. So that the amount of substances for testing persons is very minimal. So they try to help themselves and found out if you have 5 different very healthy substances, like turmeric, for example, garlic, or whatever, there are different ones, and put the small amounts together in a pill and the person eats it, the small amounts of all 5 together are much more potent than a huge amount of one of them. So that means variety is really what matters and makes a big difference. So I was very happy to read that, because my diet is predominantly a diet of variety, and plant-based cooking to me is all about variety. Yeah, as soon as I began to eat vegan, yeah, I had an experience that I had a huge amount of new ingredients I never used before. And then I made it a principle, a system. I made a video every day, a new recipe every single day. That's perfect for the YouTube media, because you can always give more new content to people and they like it. I hope you like it. Yeah, you have something new every day, that's the most important. So it fits together with the YouTube media, social media, and with my method. So and now I read that as not only a fancy, funny thing to me, to have fun and variety, it's also the healthiest thing you can do. So the more variety you put in your food, the better. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If so, give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe MD Vegan on YouTube, have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter.